I'm sure it's on a lot of people's minds, way too high in this country.
I understand the worries that people have about immigration. I understand the concerns about what's happening to people's neighbourhoods, and I understand the fears that people have, but we have taken action with this new point system.
Back in Rochdale, the woman he called bigoted left home to escape all the fuss. Mrs Duffy is still upset, say her family, but they think she's accepted the Prime Minister's apology. Prime Minister, you said people were right and you understood their concerns about immigration, but people heard you say that it was bigoted to have concerns about immigration.
But I think I've apologised, and I've said that it was the wrong word to use. I am concerned about immigration, and I am concerned about controlling immigration. And we have introduced controls on immigration, and sometimes it's frustrating that you've got to remind people that the point system has been brought in, it is now working. What's the training you've done? Some of the workers he met in this factory looked a little uncomfortable playing walk-on parts in what looked a painful spectacle. Your company's doing well in China.
Our company's doing well everywhere, but I think it's in spite of you.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, I think we're doing a lot.
Gordon Brown came to inspect the debate set, his hope that voters will focus not on him and his future, but on theirs. Tonight's Prime Ministerial debate is the biggest. It's the last. It's just a week before polling day, with millions of voters yet to make up their mind. And the result of that election is sure to be historic. Can Gordon Brown defy the odds and win again? Will Nick Clegg break the mould of British politics? Or will David Cameron end the wilderness years for the Conservatives and produce a change of government?
And we're going to stick a blue fish on it?
The leader of the Blues knows that tonight is his last big chance to convince millions of voters that despite his lack of experience, he can be trusted with the economy.
It's a very important moment in the election. I want to try and get across how we can build a stronger, better economy. That's what it's really about, the future, how we get jobs going, how we get businesses going. That, I think, is what the country's asking.
For Nick Clegg, the novelty's gone, the surprise too. So he will want to demonstrate that he has the substance to play a major role in Britain's political future.
I think lots and lots of people have found these debates really useful in terms of making up their own minds about how they're going to act, which party they're going to support, and the election has come alive.
At a college, he clashed with a student who complained that his plans to train the young unemployed would simply give them a glorified piece of paper.
Of course it's demotivating.
They know they can do the job, they've got the qualifications to do the job, but there isn't a job out there for them, and that's far worse than not having a qualification.
But Maya, what is the alternative? What do you want to do? Just have people sitting at home every 2 weeks?
You shouldn't be asking me that question. I'm asking you what the alternative is.
Well, I've given you...
Off came the TV microphone, so what he thought of the voter that he clashed with stayed private.
I am something
One debate, 1 week, one last chance for you to decide who should govern Britain. Time is running out for them to change your mind. Nick Robinson, BBC News, Birmingham.
Well, as we said, the main focus here tonight in Birmingham will be on the economy and the debate and who has the most convincing plans to sort out the record budget deficit and, of course, to boost the economic recovery. Here in the West Midlands, employers have been struggling to survive the recession, and those in the public sector are bracing themselves for large-scale cuts. Richard Bilton, our special correspondent, has spent the day in Coventry, just a few miles away, talking to people there.
Fred Bailey is happy in his work. He and his colleagues keep the streets of Coventry clean. They work for a company that works for the council. Now, there's no suggestion that their jobs are on the line, but when they hear talk of cuts, they don't like it.
If men and women haven't got a job, or worse, if they haven't got sufficient income to cover their costs, you're going to have big trouble.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot more cutbacks in the public sector. And I don't believe we can do it.
And are you and the people who work with you, are you worried about that?
My everybody's worried about it, yeah.
£1.13.
Next door in the market, every penny counts. There was an acceptance here that it'll be the same for the nation after the election, but different views on how we tackle the problem of the country's budget shortfall.
I think public sector services have to be cut. Nobody wants to see them cut. Of course we don't want to see them cut, but I think we have to minimise the problem. Before we can start growing again, we have to cut our debt down.
Well, it's the ordinary person that is going to pay it all back. It's not going to be the politicians.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because obviously, unless it affects you, you know, you're probably not bothered whether there's policemen on the street until the day you actually need a policeman there or a fireman there.
Coventry has already had a tough time during the recession. Many people here still work in manufacturing and lots of jobs have already been lost. So here, the #1 election issue is the economy. This is a city where things get made. This is a production line in a flooring factory. The company's healthy, but jobs have been lost. The chief executive here says the national debt is the problem industry wants solved, but it has to be through cuts. There can be no more tax.
The issue is spending, not taxes, because spending's been going up and it's now about 1/2 of the economy. So we can't have the tail wag the dog and say, let's just put the taxes up, because that's just wrong, and it runs the added danger it could actually kill the dog off.
Tonight's debate takes place in Britain's industrial heartland. People will watch tonight not just to see who they trust with their vote, but who they trust with their jobs. Richard Bilton, BBC News, Coventry.
Some of the views in Coventry, just a few miles away. Well, with me here in Birmingham, ready to follow every word